Okay.
I bet you can crush this one.
I'm gonna do it with my teeth.
Okay, welcome to TBD&D. I don't know what we're doing here.
You're the DM. What do you mean? I should know what we're doing. You need to.
I have regrets.
That is starting to play
Or
D&D with us.
I will, after tonight, have regrets.
Oh, great.
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
No, you're not.
Okay, after the fools had their encounter with the Earth Genasi people, pledging themselves to aid one another if the day ever happened where such a thing would be necessary, they started their long and tedious journey to Gordanski, along the way facing the many horrors and tragedies which face the subject of Gordanski on a daily basis. The torturous stretchings, the beatings, the plucking of children from their mothers, the ingrained racism, all these awful things are seen dozens of times along your weeks-long trek. In between such horrors, you are greeted by the beautiful fall colors, towerous pine trees reaching into the sky, streams full of fish, herds of deer, and the nighttime sounds of insects, made for a much-needed respite between the sights of Gordanski, but also made you feel uneasy with this entire land. At one point, in one of the many towns you passed through, you realized that even you, in all your wealth and combat prowess, were not immune from this treatment. When Gwyn decided, in an attempt to save a woman from a guard, cast a spell on him. The guard, quickly recognizing magic, a thing which is incredibly illegal, freed the woman and turned his attention to Atticus and Eyes, who were putting on a display in hopes of saving any one of these innocent townsfolk. Their act was effective, however, it ended in Atticus having to punch Eyes. With blood drawn and traumas remembered, you finally, after all this anticipation and fear, got to Gordanski, a city of proportions so immense that your minds struggle to comprehend its size. Buildings stretching into the sky with beautiful marble bridges connecting them like spiderweb. Cities within cities within cities. The Titanus Parhurst steps, each step looking more wealthy and ornate than the last. You met Schold upon entering the city, a man from the richest family, the Falrin family. You learned that he is somewhat of a personal advisor to the king. Probably his wealth put him there, but you'll find out. He introduced you to Lawrence, the owner of all the brothels in the city. I almost had to sneeze there, sorry. To all the brothels in the city. Entering one of her esteemed brothels, the smells and sights living up to all expectations. Lawrence invited you in graciously as Schold waited out front. She hooked you up with warm baths, clean clothes, and fresh food. Conversation with several of the workers were immensely friendly. Gwyn, you met an individual which greatly intrigued you. Wearing metallic sheer clothing, these beautiful kind of satin robes. You don't know his real name, but you got the feeling that he understands far more than he let on. Being led by Schold afterwards, finally you made it to the highest Parhurst step, kind of wading through all the immensities of this city. Rich folk and fantastical buildings as far as the eye can see. Dragons atop some of these buildings. Dragons that serve no one, at least so you thought. In front of you, you see what is known as Schold points out, Himmenberg Hold, a massive castle stretching pyres into the sky, kind of slicing through the dark clouds. You see the fall colors are ever present within the city, and just the sheer weight that this entire city holds, the blacksmithing forges spewing out ash everywhere you see, the guards, dozens at a time, wearing magically enchanted and beautiful armors and weapons. Schold kind of goes, well, have any of you been here before? You have.
Whoa. DM,
Yes.
I would like to clarify that you got part of your intro wrong, actually.
Okay.
The one
That's
Connor
another-
just gave
It's
me.
another 100 HP on the dragon.
What did I get wrong? Honey?
You said that.
Oh, we're fucked.
Oh no! You said that Gwyn messed with the guard to save a woman. That is incorrect. Gwyn just messed with the guard because she wanted to, and I saved a woman.
I was
no.
harassing him after he
Yeah,
killed
because she
someone in
was.
the
The guard was
Yeah.
about to cut off her hand.
No.
No. Lily,
No.
both of you are kind of right here. The man gutted a woman,
Yeah. She's already
and
dead.
then I did something to try
Gutted
and
a
make
man.
him think that he was being haunted by an vengeful spirit,
And then he
and
blamed
then
it on
he
a woman
blamed
in the
it on
crowd.
someone.
Regardless,
In the crowd. No.
the outcome was the same.
She's gotta stab me with everything she's got right now.
I almost died because of Gwyn, because Gwyn wanted the last laugh, and I
It wasn't
did a good
because I
thing.
wanted the last
did a
laugh.
good
It's because
thing,
I wanted to make him
and
feel
I'm actually
bad
better
for
than
murdering
Ash.
To give
someone.
him a conscience.
Yeah.
Yeah, which then almost got me killed.
You wouldn't have died. It's
My hands would have
fine.
come off. No eyes, no hands, no dick, no balls. Probably no butthole either.
You're a
You
cis
guys,
woman.
please.
Can we play the game?
I'm sorry, I just had to clarify to correct.
Shold. We'll go back a few seconds. Shold asks, have any of you been here before?
Have I been here before?
Not this outside. No, I don't think so.
I assume I've been there before.
Yeah.
Probably not this high in the steps, but I've been.
No, you probably have.
I have.
You have? How many years ago?
How long ago did my service end?
It was like
20 something
it
years.
was like
right?
20 years ago, a little less than 20 years probably.
20-ish years ago.
Oh, you haven't been back since? Well, no matter. It is. The city is, as you can see, quite expensive. I have procured a map just in case any of you get a little lost, and he will hand you a map. I wanted to have this physically, but Office Depot was booked up. It's this one, if you remember.
Oh, yeah.
I sort of copied it down.
Yeah.
Look at my rough.
I see
Just
that.
bunch of circles.
He goes, that is Himmelberg Hold. Obviously, it makes a statement when you look at it. You see towerous walls out front. So surrounding each of the Parhurst steps, there is a layer of wall. So if I show you here, if you
As Trump intended.
look at it. So each 1, 2, 3, each of the Parhurst steps, there's a massive wall with watchtowers stretching out across all of them. So every layer has an additional bit of protection as compared to the last. It is quite something.
Attack on Titans.
Weeb.
Brayden's like the least weeb here. You've watched more anime than him, probably.
The Studio Ghibli. Baby. Girl.
Oh gosh, guys. He goes, so the king does want to meet with all of you as quickly as possible, although he's the kind of man that could use with, he could build some more patience. So if you wish to explore, I'm more than welcome to help you, show you around a bit.
I'd like to get to him quicker rather than slower.
A bit but I understand. I went over the things how you should act around him. Just the biggest thing is he's a big proponent of honesty and forthcomingness. It is interesting, which most people try to not because, they don't want to say something that would get them killed. But then by not saying that thing is the thing that gets them killed. So just to be honest with him, unless it is something that you really do not want to share, and I do not need to know that, that is none of my business, but if any business that you do have you definitely do not want to share, please get around it as deftly as you can.
I have a question.
Yes, Ersa.
This might come off rude, but it's not meant to be. Do you have a specific reason why you are trying to protect us, not get us killed?
That is a good question. My family, to give you a little more context on what my family is like, my father is very overbearing, so is my mother, but a little less so, but she's been absent most of my life. I have two older siblings, a sister and a brother. The oldest brother died probably 5 years ago, so a lot of the responsibilities of my family has fallen onto me. And my sister she likes to drink quite a lot, and she spends most of our daddy's money quite frequently. So that means all the pressure on my family is on my shoulders. And I do not want to see the people that the king, outwardly at least, trusts fail. Because then that would mean it would put a bad rap on my reputation in my family.
Can I make an insight check? Yeah.
Go for it.
Okay. Insight. Oh, it's really good. 25.
Okay.
Mine's up there. Just one second. I know I have. Oh, plus 5, 23.
Both of you.
I should ask how your day was, but they're done.
Okay. Schultz goes, any more questions? Did I answer yours appropriately?
Yes.
Okay, great.
I will mentally to Ursa. You call that right?
Oh, yeah.
Weird. How should he be addressed? Any formal title?
I mean, most people, it is very much known that you are supposed to address him as my king.
Mr.
However, he is weird about this. And especially you people that, again, outwardly he is supposed to trust, people that he has invited on his council. He does not like when people address him just to please him. So I would have one of you maybe address him as my king, see his response. If you can tell that he feels like he is having his feet and boots licked, maybe stray away, if that makes sense.
What?
Shoot, I'm supposed to. I should have had this pulled out. How did I forget this? Sorry.
Okay.
We could have those who actually live in Gordanski territory address him as my king, since that would be appropriate, but the rest of us who do not live under his rule could address him elsewise. So, Atticus and Gwyn, you would address him as my king,
I don't live in Gordanski territory.
but Hastridge is now Gordanski territory.
I haven't been in Hastridge in 25 years.
Do you claim it as your home?
No,
Very well.
it's not where I would write my address at home.
Sorry.
You. Where would you
There's
write your address then?
Is there a way to write the Feywild as your address?
I suppose.
Just, 2 dimensions down the road and
You'd be
Hop,
surprised.
skip, and a portal.
Yeah, if anyone's my king, it's his dad, and I call him dumbass. So.
it's a good title.
Well, I will say I think the king here will demand a bit more respect than
Schuld goes, if he does not respond well to being called my king, just call him by his first name, Hatumir. That's how I address him. But he also is very fond of my family's money, so he will probably be okay with whatever I call him.
That's a good point.
Say it again without the accent, DM, so that
Hatumir.
I can actually understand it. Hatumir?
Hatumir.
Hatumir. I hate French people.
Oh gosh.
Closing a lot of doors pretty
He
early
goes,
on.
he goes, well, if there are no more questions, nothing that you wish to explore, let us get to the hold, if that is all right with all of you.
will he address all of us
Most likely, yes.
individually?
Potentially, be prepared.
All right.
I will say, he likes to play mental games with people. Oftentimes, he will pick a couple people that he thinks are more interesting to talk to, or maybe he thinks are being less truthful with him, and he will try to talk his way around.
I assumed I'm familiar with people like him. Do you mind if I take a step aside just to talk with everyone?
Oh, absolutely. I will be right across the street over there by that very elegant-looking lamppost. Please flag me down when you need me. Take as much privacy as you need. And he
Can I
walks like...
Insight check if he's attracted to the lamppost.
Sure.
Who wouldn't be? It's a
15.
sexy
He is
lamppost.
not.
Dang it.
But I will say with that insight, it catches you like he, as a person that is very, very wealthy, he is impressed by the ornateness of this object.
I did notice that. I was like, it's weird. Why?
Okay, you guys are pretty private.
Right. Try not to have a panic attack right now. Right. Odie, Gwyn, Atticus,
What?
how will you hold up under questioning?
It's fine.
Odie.
Are you?
No, it's fine.
Are you
Only
going to
worry
say
that I have
Aaron?
is that everything that you say that is truthful always sounds like a lie, and everything that you say is a lie always sounds like a lie.
That would do it.
What is the name you are going to give King Hatumir?
Does he know it already?
Probably.
I would assume, probably.
So are you gonna say Aaron? Or are you gonna say Odie?
It's on your papers.
Oh yeah, what is on your papers?
I think I put Aaron on my papers.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I think I did.
I remember you did.
Maybe just say that Odie is a middle name.
Comes down to it, yeah. Yeah, that would work.
All right. I need. It's been a while, but I have some experience with diplomacy and talking to crazy, powerful, rich people. Maybe try to be boring, I say to the multicolored goat whose horns are like
Disco party.
Bioluminescent.
he's still got a little bit of glitter in his fur.
If a disco was a person, it would be Odie. Okay.
And Gwen, you are very good at telling the truth, but I am very good at twisting it.
Will he pick up on that though?
Perhaps, but
If telling the truth is what doesn't get us killed, then we should probably stick with that.
I'll be telling the truth the entire time.
Yes, but it's still twisted truth is still a form of dishonesty.
You guys seen a bathroom anywhere? I can use a bathroom.
Oh yeah, like right over there.
So not gonna go well.
That's pretty
I think I
nice.
can do it.
Ursa's kind of gesturing to like the half, kind of not balaclava, but the thing that she's got on.
Is this gonna be an issue?
He may recognize your tattoos, but
Oh, well, I'm not super worried about the king, but
Can I walk over to Shold?
Sure. As you walk over to him, you see that he is in amazement. You see he's like looking at like the gold ornateness of this lamppost and kind of like touching it. He like kind of looks at it and then he...
Is High Lieutenant Elveron in council today?
I
Or-
think
or is he out of house?
That is a good question. I believe he is out of house, but I think he should be getting back soon.
Okay.
Is this going to be an issue?
No, just old friend. Wondering if he was going to be in or not.
Okay. Well, if it is about the tattoos on your friend over there, they are not super subtle. Even I saw them with her intent to cover them up. I don't know what the relation is there. I don't need to know. But if it is going to be a problem, if your friend were to see her, I will make sure I can arrange that he does not come to the castle right away if he is coming today. Or if it is the opposite, if you need me to get him there as quickly as possible, but I need you to tell me.
can we overhear Atticus having this? Are you having this conversation loudly enough that we could hear?
I'm not trying to hide it.
I mean, they're like across the street, though.
Yeah. So probably not.
Either way, if we were under the king's protection, I don't think he would or could do anything outright.
you're probably right.
That is a good question. I'm not sure what will happen. I mean, because I want to see him as soon as possible, but at the same time, I don't know what's really going on there either.
Uncertainty can lead to some of the most dangerous situations. How about this? I will stall him. If he does happen to re-enter the city, I will keep him away from you until you can make up your mind more firmly.
Okay, I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Walk back. Sold says he might be out of the house right now. But he might be getting back. In the case that he does, Shold will try to stall him until we finish our conversations with the king.
One less thing to worry about today.
And I didn't say this, but he's already connected the tattoos between her and Elveron.
Oh man.
So that's something else to worry about. But anyway, we should probably get in there if we have chances of not seeing him today.
I think it might actually be better if everyone sees while we're in the presence of the king.
Well, that's your call. You're the one kind of leading this.
Am I?
Well, you're the smartest one here when it comes to this sort of stuff. Playing chess with powerful people. I just punch things really hard and bandage people up when they get their knees scraped.
Atticus. Look, we all deal with powerful people all the time, and
I don't want to, but I do.
we're all capable. Odie, you have a charm to you that makes you very interesting to powerful people, and you know what? That means you're less likely to get killed by them.
Right away. Less likely to be killed right away. But that's fair.
Well, as long as the court jester gets the opportunity to run.
Jester's privileged.
I'm best at, I guess.
Gwyn, you're cute, you're charming, you're good with people. You can handle this. Savrin, you're powerful and you can also deal with this. This is your home. I know Argo is your home, but you lived here for a long time and you know Gordanski.
What's the king's first name again?
Hatumir.
Hatumir?
King Hatumir.
I think we all just address him as King Hotmir. It's exactly what he is. No ass kissing, no lack of respect. And Ursa, you know what? If you can't think of a word, that's all right, because you are still learning common. So
It'll be fine.
But what's the deal on Elveron? Should we get Shold to get him in-house quicker?
I'm sure Elveron will hear about our status before he does anything rash. I say we get this over with and then deal with Elveron. But that's just my thoughts. I have no...
I think you should see us enter the room. With the emotions behind his upset, I mean, the emotions behind your situation, I would rather him have his initial shock and anger be in a room where we're surrounded by guards and the king himself, so that he has a moment to think about what he's doing before he tries to kill us,
Or it gives him longer to formulate how he will get to us after.
if he's there, we can get to him before he gets to us. There's not going to be any avoiding him in this city.
I just worry it would come across like it was not rubbing it in, but
It complicates the situation with Elveron.
yeah.
Complicates the situation with the king.
Exactly. That's why I think we should keep the two situations separate for now.
Even as High Lieutenant, Elveron wouldn't dare interrupt the king while he was interviewing us.
Not while, maybe, but afterwards.
That might be in our benefit. we can talk to him first before he makes a plan to kill us, then perhaps we can get on his good side.
You think he will try to kill Ersa on sight?
No. I think he would let anger fester if he heard about us being in the city and we weren't there to stop it.
Maybe on the flip side, if Atticus was the first one he sees and talks to, as opposed to seeing us all in the same.
I think you're onto something there.
I think it could work either way, though.
I worry it would make him turn on Atticus.
I worry it would make him turn on Atticus if we're together.
Thinking of... Okay, so I haven't been able to see Ursa's mother.
Mm-hmm.
But Ursa has... Would Ursa know how close, like, she looks to her mom? Is she the spitting image of her mother?
Would I know that?
Oh, would Atticus know that?
I know of her on the most. How do
Yeah.
I think he would react? Or like an insight on past memories?
So he's the kind of person. No, you know pretty well. He's the kind of person where even though this is a deeply religious city, you know that he himself is not that religious. He's very loyal, but he's not that religious. He doesn't believe things unless he sees them himself. He's not one to think into things too much. Not that he can't see what's beyond the surface, but he's just a very literal person. You'd imagine that if he saw Ersa, yes, she shares resemblances to his wife. However, in your opinion, if he saw her without the tattoos, he would probably think, oh, you're kind of familiar, but I can't place it, and be done with it. Now, maybe if he combined that with the tattoos, he could put 2 and 2 together. So there's a risk there. But you think if it was just her face, he probably wouldn't think of anything.
I'd go ahead and repeat that.
Would it help to just have any long sleeves?
Well, I thought I did. I had the sleeves and the thing covering my neck, and apparently it didn't.
Schuld still saw through it.
Have Schuld delay him if you can, but let's have a contingency plan in case he shows up.
Okay.
Alright? You talk to him and we use Ursa's resemblance to her mother to our advantage. You said he was loyal?
She betrayed that trust, that loyalty. That might not be a good idea at all.
I counter you guys. He's loyal. If we have the king's protection, there's no way that he would dare turn on that.
Precisely. And royal betrayal. Just because someone betrayed you doesn't mean you don't love them. But
It's been a long time. It's not the same for everyone.
either way, if we hurry to the king now, we won't have to see him at all. Right. So let's do that. If he shows up, we are under the protection of the king. And we'll deal with it then. Talk to him later. Convince him we're on his side.
Okay.
Because you are, aren't you?
What do you mean?
On Elveron's side.
Certainly want to be.
And I would argue that Ursa and I do too. Yes. Right. Are we ready?
Sure. Ready as I'll ever be.
Honesty.
Oh, okay.
How honest?
Very.
Honest, but don't run your mouths, alright?
Only what you're
just-
asked.
Answer the question.
And exactly. Sav got it exact. Answer only what you're asked.
Okay.
And if he asks us all a question, maybe let me talk first.
Okay.
You trust me?
As much as I can.
Don't know what that means. Don't know if that's comforting. Alright. Let's go. Let's not keep him waiting.
Okay.
Okay. You walk on over to Shold. He kind of goes, have you guys discussed your game plan? Yes? Don't worry, I could not listen in, but all your faces are so pale, you're so nervous. I would only assume that is what you spoke of. You don't have to tell me. Oh, okay, there you go. Let us go. He continues forward. You walk up these elaborate steps through a gate beyond the massive walls which surround the hold. You see hundreds of guards positioned up on the wall, their ballistas pointing down at you as you walk up the stairs. Guards wielding spears, swords, maces, massive shields.
AR-15s.
The hold itself is, in and of itself, like probably the size of a quarter of the entirety of Winterspire. It's several miles in every direction. It's huge. Stepping inside the castle after Shold kind of shows his own face, the guards kind of let you all pass, kind of showing his power in this situation. You step in and are led through a series of corridors and safety measures until you finally reach the throne room. This throne room is beautiful. Stained glass windows, statues all around you, archers positioned up on the balconies above you. You see that it is almost halfway under construction. You see the banners are being changed for new ones with different colors. Ladders are kind of chiseling out new statues. There's a sort of a color change taking place. You see, before you even are able to step fully into this room, a massive man. You see he has like dwarven features. Some of the proportions and face shape is very dwarven. However, he stands probably at 7'2". You see he's decked out in armor, a massive greatsword that for most men would take 2 hands to wield, but you can tell he probably just uses the one. He's got this massive helmet that he's kind of holding underneath his arm. You see he kind of puts his hand on his sword and steps out in front of you, Shold kind of leading the charge. He goes, "And what business do you all have to attend here? Some interesting faces. Faces I would love to see in a different circumstance." Shold kind of pats him on the thigh. "Oh, don't worry, big boy. These are our esteemed guests for the evening. These are the marked ones that you were told to behave yourself." He kind of looks down on Shold. "One of these days I'm going to suck the life out of your skull." And he kind of steps to the side, Shold kind of quietly, but not so quiet that the big man wouldn't be able to hear. He goes, that is Brokolg, the king's son. He has a little bit of a, what is the word for it?
Hubris?
Oh, yes, that is a word for it. Misplaced hubris. That is why his father punishes him by making him just a guard and nothing more.
By the way, you have a window up in front of your what side of your window?
No.
Oops.
Just scoot. I just wanted to let you know. Okay. Thank you. It was really ruining my immersion.
Sorry. Schuld kind of, yes, he's an interesting character. All bark, no bite. Well,
Are you sure? I imagine you'd have to be very brave to be protecting the hold.
oh no, he can be very brash, very strong, but his father has him on a very tight leash. He's constantly trying to prove himself, get himself promoted by his own father, but nothing has worked.
I kind of look at him, I'm like, and then I look back. It's not even like a taunting smile, it's just a smile.
He kind of scowls at you a little bit as you continue on.
Have I been looking at him for about a minute?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay. I forget the fighter feature. Know your enemy or something like that.
Yeah.
So I have, what is it? 160 some odd HP. Higher or lower?
Higher
Total class level. Higher or lower?
than yours? Higher.
Okay.
Just to add some more flavor to this ability as well, and your combat prowess, I'm going to say that when you look at him, you see his left shoulder hangs a little bit lower than his right. And you've seen this before in soldiers. You think that he probably had a pretty bad dislocation, and his shoulder.
I know dislocation.
His shoulder just sags. It's subtle, but it's ever so slightly. This could be exploited if it were to ever come down to it.
Okay.
Okay.
Dude, I gotta use this more often then. It's like the first time I've ever used that.
Looking down this elaborate hall, you finally see the king. You see there is a woman kind of standing behind him, a human woman, very beautiful. You can tell she's older in years, but has the perfect makeup that it kind of makes her look like younger than she is. You see a man sitting on this exquisite throne of gold, steel, copper, every ore that you can think of, just infused into this beautiful throne. The stained glass windows kind of spreading their light behind him. You see he is older in years, slender. He wears no armor, simply just kind of a leather tunic, pants, boots. He's almost dressed as if a farmer or lesser folk would wear. Still elaborate, but it's a little off-putting. You see a big smile appears on his somewhat wrinkled, long beard with kind of beads intertwined with it, bald head. This smile kind of creeps up on his older figure. You see he kind of leans back more into his chair, kind of clasps the hand of his very stoic-looking wife. You see there is almost like a squire individual kind of down the steps from where he's sitting. And the squire goes, announcing the King of Kings, Gordanski's, and you see he's immediately interrupted by the king going, oh, would you shut up, please? These are our esteemed guests. I don't want to bother them with titles that they already know I hold. Nor do you need to introduce them. I am very well aware of who they are. Please go fetch me some wine or something. The squire, yes, my king, runs off.
How much of a twink is the squire?
He's probably like 15.
How much of a twink is he?
He's underage. Continue that question. Yeah. The answer is he's underage.
Yeah. The king kind of It is a true delight to finally put faces to the descriptions. I have heard of your escapades, let us call it, for some time. It is truly endearing to finally see all of you. We've got Odie, Atticus, Ice, Ersa, Gwyneth, Teak, and Savrin. Man, when I pictured you in my head, it was not this. First of all, this group dynamic is intriguing, to say the least. We've got the brutish warrior, the furred sorcerer with wild magic, the very talented wizard, the fighter with various strange magics. We've got the archfey. I love your hair, by the way.
Thank you.
We've got the expert tinkerer and the vampire cleric, is it? It is good to finally meet you. I am Hatumir. Please just refer to me as Hatumir. No need for King or Your Excellence or whatever other ridiculous titles people are forced by law to call me.
You're sure. We would like to offer you all the respect that you deserve.
You do not owe me anything. Your presence alone is all that I desire. Now, I'm sure you have many questions for me, for my dearest third wife here, and any other things you need, I am happy to oblige. Now, I do know that you do not currently have housing within the city, and since I'm sure you will be staying here for some time, I have reserved each individual rooms for each of you inside the hold. Now, of course, if you do not wish to stay inside this old place, I do not blame you. Any other things you may be interested in living, any other houses, either work with that in and of yourself, and I'm happy to reimburse, or just ask me and I will supply any building you desire.
Thank you.
Of course. I suppose I should introduce my dearest wife. This is Sergeant. Please say hello, Sergeant. Hello. This here is my, well, newest wife. We wed, 10 years ago? We've been a decade now. That is delightful. She goes, yes, my king. He kind of goes, I'm sure you've met my son back there. Say hello, my big son. He kind of turns embarrassed. And he kind of nods his head. He goes, he's quite shy. That is Brokolk, in case you were wondering. He is quite the specimen, might I add. When that puppy came out of the womb, I was amazed that it didn't kill his mother. But alas, he is here, and he is standing proud. Look at him. Oh. He's positioned on a lower, bit of guard position. The one time I tried to give him a higher position, he killed a dearest friend of mine. Squoze his head until it shattered like a vase. It was quite something to see. Well, I'm sure you've had a very long journey, and unfortunately I will have to keep you but a bit longer. Our council meeting, your first council meeting, is coming up shortly. Unfortunately, we do have one absent member, a member which I believe you are friends with. I'm not sure if he will be able to make it tonight. I'm hoping he will be able to, but if not, I'm sure you'll be able to arrange a meeting with him at some other point. Before our council meeting, I'm sure you have many questions, and I have some questions for you as well. But first, I would like to give the floor to you. Any questions you have, now is your chance.
I mean, it's pretty clear why we're here. We are marked ones, and you are the King of Gordanski. We are here to serve you.
You are too kind, really too kind. You should not be that kind. A follow-up question.
Not out of kindness. It's, we are marked.
It's like our job, no?
So you feel obliged to be here, not out of desire. Well, that answers a question that I was going to ask. No need to ask it anymore.
Can I insight check guys?
Sure.
How genuine is she being? Is she, or not genuine, but is she excited?
Does she feel like it's duty to be here? Yes. Is she excited to be here? No.
6.
You like how I answered that?
Before you rolled.
She's telling the truth.
He goes,
It's duty.
well, that actually answers something that I already thought before this. Let us be honest here. You do not want to be here. Especially those of you that, unfortunately, have received some ill treatment. No one that is treated like that wishes to serve the very place that enacts those sort of things. So I understand.
It's true. We have received less than hospitable treatment by townsfolk, but we are hoping for a difference here with you.
Yes, actually, this morning, as I anticipated your arrival, I did issue I hate how this sounds, a royal decree. Basically stating that if anyone, guard, peasant, lower folk, higher folk, if anyone mistreats you in any way, I will have their hands. And of course, most guards, the ones doing most of the enforcing, well, if they lose their hands, it'll mean they also lose their jobs. You can't be a very good guard without hands. So, I would hope that no one will be mistreating you anymore.
Thank you. That's quite a relief, actually.
I'm glad to hear. Speaking of being marked, now, I do have conversations with Tyr. However, he has been less frequent as of late. I suspect that he has other things to attend to, whatever they may be. He only speaks to me when it concerns me. He did tell me of you, but he just said to invite you into the city, be your friend, and give you anything you needed. How did you get marked?
Well, we are a powerful group, as I'm sure you know. We have many dealings with different gods, and Tyr happens to be one who took a particular interest in us.
Why did he take a particular interest in you? No one has been marked in 50 years.
Well, we happened to spring a great treasure out of an old tomb far to the west, and
What kind of treasure would interest such a man that seemingly has everything?
you would have to ask Tyr himself.
I like you. Your dealings are deft, to say the least. I will have to bring it up with him.
Very well.
Can I ask a couple questions now?
By all means.
There's a limited time, so I will only pick my favorites. Question number 1. If you could change anything about Gordanski, what would you change?
It's like in the restaurants when they give you the restaurant survey.
The racism and the enslavement and stuff. That's what I would change.
The rest of you?
It's a pretty fair answer.
Same.
There is a disrespect to certain members of your populace, particularly now that your rule has extended to most corners of Ezerum. You're no longer a kingdom of dwarves and humans.
That is true. It used to be that way, a long time ago, but it is not anymore, and I acknowledge that the treatments are fully unjustifiable. What specifics would you like me to do to change this?
Well, we'll have to discuss that with your council. While we are marked, we are not sure how exactly you would like to go about disciplining.
I have a number of suggestions.
Please, air them out.
I think the first thing would be a limitation on how quickly guards can kill people or execute punishment, such as chopping off hands. I think a proper judicial system where, an accused person could be tried would help, because while that would not eliminate the issues of an individual bad apple's, sorry, it's so hard for me to use a bad apple argument. Well, that
How
might.
does Quinn know what a judicial system is?
There
was Winterspire.
Yeah. We've been through it before.
Yeah.
We were on trial, weren't we?
Yeah, we were.
That was the first thing we did together.
While it may not ever be a perfect system, it could reduce the any unjust action that the specific guard that has not good intentions, not just intentions, could do.
I see. My son, can you please step forward? I wish to speak with you on this matter. You hear all the hanging braziers kind of move as he walks towards. He steps forward. Yes, my father. These new esteemed guests, they bring up a very valid point, and I wish to change it right now. I want you to talk to every high-ranking official in the city, and you personally attend to this. I want, on every Parhurst steps and outlying cities, a judicial system set up immediately, done tonight. I want a series of judges on each... I want a series of judges that hit every demographic that reside in our city. I want an elven judge, a dwarf, a human, a gnome, a goblin, an orc. Every single individual race that resides in this city, I want one judge per level. They will now decide the fates of every single criminal act within the city. Please have this done within the night. You see, he goes hesitantly, yes, father. And he leaves. Well, I suppose that should aid the situation. I will also, before our meeting, instruct guards to, instead of jumping straight to final actions, instead take every individual, no matter the race or wealth standing, into the prison system before any final decision is made.
I mean, we'll have to see how it runs, but...
Absolutely, and if you have any more feedback on how things turn out within the day, week, month, please, any changes can be made. As you see, changes can be made quite quickly if given the right command.
Clearly.
Are there any other changes you wish me to enact?
Can I make an insight check on these changes? On this guy.
I have a question of history, if you don't
I would
mind.
also like to follow suit.
Absolutely.
What you said earlier, it didn't used to be this way. I know 300 some odd years ago, the humans and dwarves had a falling out with the elves. I just know it happened, but can you speak to the situation that was present?
Well,
King 300 years ago?
Well, I'm sure
No.
he has.
he's only been king for 80 years.
Sure, he studied the history of his own kingdom.
Before him, it was his uncle that was king, actually. He goes, and he ruled for 200 years. And then before him, it would be the king that dealt with this. So 2-3 generations. He goes, that is a very good question. The situation, as bluntly as I can put it, Gordanski, although not at all in its infancy, was significantly smaller than it is today. back then, most of the populace, I'd say about 90%, were either dwarf or human, with a 50% split down the middle. Now, the king at the time, my great-grandfather, was old in years. He made rash decisions. The elves, teaming up alongside many Genasi folk, they set a goal to overrule the proceedings of Gordanski, put new people into power. There actually used to be an entire civilization, massive city. It was named Untar. It was only about a couple hundred miles south of here. Now, Untar, ruled by elves, Genasi alike, along with many other races, they didn't like how Gordanski was encroaching on their land, as they justly felt. So, they rose up against Gordanski. Gordanski at this time were afraid. This city had numerous troops, many magical enhancements, and Gordanski grew fat with power, lazy. My father couldn't recognize this. My great-grandfather, excuse me. And so, in an act of swiftness, it was ordered that all the elven population, all the Genasi population within the city were to be either killed or enslaved. Battle soon happened. Afterwards, of course, they had to free their people. And it was a long and tedious war, one of many that Gordanski has fought, but eventually Gordanski defeated them. Took several years, but they did. They took over the city, mostly demolished it. So after their defeat and subsequent enslavement, a massive cultural shift was started, and elven hatred of all other forms of religion sparked after that. Now, myself grew up in this culture, so did my father and his father. And I myself have grown blind to it, but as of now, you have enlightened me with such injustice, and I hope to fix it alongside you.
I would like to roll an insight check on all of it.
Yeah.
I think also a history check would be good for people who are good at that. I rolled an 18.
Come on, big chunk.
I got a 24 with a natural 20.
Oh, it's maybe a triple. What's a 19 plus a billion?
Plus a billion.
Unnatural 20.
1,019,000,000.
Probably that number, yeah.
So who? Okay, unnatural 19, 24. What'd you get?
Mine wasn't for insight, mine was for history to see if what he's saying is lining up with what I know about Gordanski's history.
What he's saying is true.
Okay.
It's pretty common knowledge.
Yeah.
I'm gonna roll. I'm not telling you what it's for. Could be deception or general charisma to see how well you believe him. But this is a big roll, so I'm going to roll it in front of you all. If I roll a 12 or higher, then that is ideal for the king, if that makes sense. 4.
Nice.
Cannot mask his racism level.
19. Who got 19?
Couldn't mask his power level.
Izzy got 19.
No,
Did
I
you
got
get
a dirty 20.
Oh, perfect.
I got 24.
So
Okay,
18,
you too.
20, 24.
I got 24 as well.
Oh, you did too? Okay, I'll whisper the same thing here in a second. Come.
Is the cutoff 18? Does Odie not get to hear?
Odie does not.
He's bad at lying and he's bad at
He's just bad.
getting through lies. He's just bad. Yeah, he's just bad.
Bo is so cute. Let me just
Pick him up
do a
and chill him
soliloquy
up.
about Bo.
Oh, he's out
He's
cold.
sleeping.
Like out cold.
He wakes you up. It's okay.
Oh my goodness.
Connor just saw Bo.
He is out.
That's a good little spot for him. Okay.
Oh, you're my D20. Thank you.
He goes, any other questions? We've been trading at this point. We may as well keep it up. You see he kind of looks at this pocket watch. We've still got a good few minutes.
What's your favorite color?
I just said we were trading questions. I guess I will trade a question of equivalent value to that one. I really adore the color purple, I would say.
Insight check.
Oh my god.
9.
You started this way. Don't even.
Tell the truth. He asks, a question of equivalence. What is each of yours favorite beverage?
Well.
So
He goes, oh, I suppose I could answer that one myself. But you?
Berry wine.
Berry wine. Teak. You?
Well, there's actually this really nice smoothie I used to drink back in Mansfield, but it's like a little fruit smoothie. Can't remember exactly what was in it, but it's pretty good.
Teeth like
Okay,
down fruits.
I see. Interesting. Elsa?
I'm quite fond of citrus ale.
Oh. I have a interesting palate. Spice and sour things. It doesn't go down well for me. But I'll have to give that one a second chance. You, Isabel?
Spiced champagne, actually.
Spice champagne.
So, anything with good alcoholic content is. I'm quite fond.
I see. Atticus?
Water. Can't go wrong with it.
Hey, you are the healthiest one here, it seems. Perhaps the smoothie as well. Odie?
That was not. I couldn't not let that out. Sorry.
Interesting.
No.
Can you elaborate on why you care for such a delicacy?
Odie's full of shit.
Technically, everyone is.
It's a tea that I make. It's pomegranate and a little bit of incense ash
Okay.
And piss.
and piss. Pomegranate, incense ash, and
Oh, I see you're trying to form an acronym in your head.
Sake.
silver leaves
Okay. The last ingredient.
and spices.
What kind of spices?
Cumin, nutmeg.
Cumin and nutmeg. Almond nut?
Yes.
Oh my god.
The King of
And
Gordanski.
it lines up because pomegranate is a symbol of fertility.
Yes. Incense ash for a little bit.
The king goes,
A little bit interesting.
it doesn't sound half bad. I will have to try your piss.
It's great. I'll make
That's
it for
what
you.
his spot runs on.
That's what piss pot runs on. I'll have to make it for you. It's quite nice.
Would you like to make it for the council?
Yes.
No.
Yes, that would be lovely.
How quickly can you make it?
Do you just like plop down on the floor and start making things out of your
Yeah, I
bag?
don't have any. I don't.
Let
have,
us all walk to the kitchen. We'll help you make it right now.
Okay.
Let's do that.
Okay.
You see, he stands up. My dearest wife, would you please go make sure that our dear old son is not getting into any trouble? Yes. She leaves.
I did not.
You
want it to turn
begin
into this.
walking
That's what you get for saying piss.
You begin walking through a series of beautiful corridors, windows on each side, looking over the massive, massive country. You see, he goes, this hold was actually built, believe it or not. He's also a dwarf, by the way. In case you, he goes, this hold, believe it or not, was built, how many years ago was it? It was built by my, well, not just personally, he had a lot of helpers, obviously, by my great, I think there's another one in there, grandfather. Anyway, he built it 1,000 years ago, I want to say. Probably between, I think it's 930 years ago. I struggle with numbers, always have my entire life. So pardon me, but I believe that is an accurate statement. It was built by hand. Use of magics was also very, very helpful. Rumor has it, and I've actually never gotten a firm answer from Tyr himself. They say that he aided in the creation of this hold. They said that he himself actually carved the Parhurst steps. Whether or not that's true, I do not know.
I thought the Earth Genasi did.
Well, it's very impressive, either way. Whether built by man or by God.
Oh, it's old. Don't have to say it's impressive. Look, these very bricks, they're kind of... their colors fully depleted. I'm actually working, my newest initiative is restoring the castle. So as you saw in the throne room, that is one of their first additions there. Repainting everything, you know, adding new banners that are updated, all that sort of stuff.
Either way, things that last are impressive.
It is true. This has lasted quite some time. Just the color has faded ever so slightly. Oh, here we are, in this massive kitchen. This is where all of the, residents of the hold do most of their personal cooking, or they have others do it for them. There should be all the ingredients that you mentioned within these halls. Please, be my guest.
Wonderful. He starts.
Make a performance check.
He starts making piss. Oh.
I'm making piss.
That's a 14.
While you're cooking, he kind of approaches, or like mixing this drink, he kind of approaches, and he goes, "So, Odie, your upbringing. I've, from outward sources, I've heard a little bit about it, but I'm curious. You ran away from your mother, is that correct? And your father?
Yes.
Is your father, and please stop me if I'm getting too intrusive, was he a good man?
Come here.
As much as I knew him.
As much as you knew him. When was the last time you saw him? Was it that day?
Here and there after that, but
So he didn't die?
to my surprise, no.
When did you see him last?
I'm trying to think, was it the day before this?
Yeah, or it was a couple days ago, I think.
It was back at the camp, so it would have been like 2 weeks.
Oh yeah, probably like 2 weeks ago.
Not too long. Maybe a couple weeks, maybe a month.
Well, I'm glad that you have reconnected with him.
It's very, very nice. Very interesting.
Odie,
To say the
the
least.
water is boiling.
Oh, thank you.
Sorry for me intruding. You mix all of the ingredients, and it's fine. It's nothing
average.
special though. It's like it's palatable, but
It's
it's piss. So
Made piss.
yeah, you made piss.
Yeah.
It's
May I have a sip?
sure.
Mostly just
Yes.
sour pomegranate.
Kind of takes it, kind of drinks a little bit.
It's an acquired taste.
Oh, I like it. It's very new to me, but I could get behind this. What's the alcohol content? If any.
I don't think it's alcoholic. It's just herbal.
Oh, okay. But he still asks you that.
It's just herbal.
Oh, even better. With my old age, I really should not be ingesting too much of the nasty stuff. Thank you for this. Hopefully this will be enough for all of our meeting guests. Speaking of which, shall we be off?
After you.
while you guys are kind of walking, he goes, Eyes, did you know that your father once sat on the very council seat that you yourself will sit on? I never met him, nor have I ever. And he never served when I was king, nor my uncle. But one of the founding kings of Gordanski, he was known to be a council member.
Did I know that?
Mm-mm.
I was not aware of that.
Yes, well, they say he left after a disagreement.
Well, given his race and Gordanski's history, I'm sure it was inevitable.
Oh, I'm sure. He threatened my predecessor of several generations, said that Gordanski was not built for this purpose, and that someday it would be, whatever that meant. But it has been hundreds of years, and I'm sure you know that he is not capable of such things.
Of such things?
Of making a threat that grand.
With the political repercussions, it would be unwise.
That is true. He would not be able to acquire so easily his subjects.
That's true, though I wonder if he threatened your predecessor. Does Gordanski supply him subjects?
No. No, we do not. In fact, after this falling out several hundred years ago, Gordanski or Skinner has not aided one another in the slightest.
Well, he's always kept his history very private. Didn't want to involve me in any higher political standings when I was younger.
Really? That surprises me because you are quite adept at conversing and weaving through conversation.
Well, it doesn't mean he didn't teach me how to talk.
Well, here we are. You see, it opens into a grandiose sort of conference room. You see high vaulted ceilings, a massive metallic and wood-infused table with chairs lies in the middle of the room. You see a large, probably 20-foot high, 40-foot wide opening of a window. It is a paneless window, and you see it actually steps out immediately to a balcony. You see the kind of nighttime streets below you glow beautifully. This massive balcony kind of lets in this kind of subtle breeze, and you see clouds actually occasionally wisp by and somewhat curl and enter into this room. You do see the one individual, the king, looking at this man, a human man. He's older in years, like I said, kind of like those old medieval doctor type equipment with various like magical components and things on his side. He's got gray old hair. He kind of stands up, kind of bows to the king, and the king, stop. This is Brolin. Say hello, Brolin. Brolin kind of... Brolin is very quiet. Similar to how Ursa used to be, I hear. But he has never spoken in his life, not that I know of. But he is highly intelligent, one of my most noble of individuals on this council. Besides him, there should be two other people here. Shold, which you met, is on this council as well. And as soon as he's about to continue, one more man that you have not seen enters the room. You see he's wearing kind of a heavy armor. He appears to be like a high-ranking guard of some kind. And he goes to this man, he goes, and this is Gould. Say hello, Gould. Gould goes, hello. I hear that you are all the newest members of this council. It is good to meet you.
You as well.
Yes. The King Gold here is basically the leader of, how do I put this and make it sound more interesting than it actually is? He's the leader of foreign affairs, I guess you can call it. He handles the outsourcing and organization of all things that fall outside of city limits, if that makes sense. The only other member, I did hear that Shold should be arriving here shortly, so within a couple minutes. And then the only other member that we are missing is Atticus's dear old friend. I'm not sure if he will be able to make it today, but we will find out. He travels quite quickly, so he could be here on a whim. Shold kind of goes in and as the king kind of, everyone please take a seat wherever you want.
What was the name of the mute councilman? Sorry.
Brolin. World's fastest Brolin.
World's fartest.
World's fartest and shortest.
Oh gosh. Okay.
Yes.
You all kind of take your seats around the table. The king sits down at the very height of it. You see Gould, you see Brolin. And shortly after, Shold kind of steps in. He kind of, hello, my friends. You see he kind of passes by and he sits directly next to you, Atticus. And as he sits down, very discreetly, you see he passes you a little note. Oh, why? You kind of take it. Are you trying to read it stealthily? He seemed to pass it to you in a very stealthy way.
Yeah, sure. Try to read it stealthily.
Okay, make a sleight of hand
He takes out
check.
his reading glasses and he like.
A sleight of hand.
Yeah, roll with advantage because it is under the table. Like, you're mainly just trying to make it quiet.
24.
24. You read it perfectly silent. Nobody notices. All it simply says is, I talked to a few people. Elveron is not in Gordanski. However, there are rumors that he will be trying to join us in this meeting. And then it finishes, would you like me to get a message to Ersa to cover up?
Let's let it play out. Let's see what happens.
What's the worst that could happen?
Should I write on the piece of paper and hand the note back? Is that kind of the vibes I'm getting?
What do you write? Passing notes.
I mean,
like it's fucking grade
it
school.
finishes with a yes or no
Do you
question.
pass on me?
You
Yes.
could just like kind of look to him and go, but it's up to you.
Do you like me? Yes or no?
I give him a nod yes, knowing that it'll get Ersa the information that Elveron might be coming, and then I'll leave it up to her.
Okay. Taking this information, he's very adept at not acting sort of different ways. As soon as he sits down, kind of adjusts the demon. You see he kind of starts touching his pockets. My king, I must have forgotten something, excuse me. He kind of gets up, doesn't go near Ersa, but kind of leaves the room. The king kind of, well, I suppose we'll have to wait for him. He always has a way of pestering me, I suppose. If it weren't for his name, I would be more upset with him more frequently, but as things go. You've met Brolin, you've met Gold. You two, do you have any questions for our newest council members? They both kind of look to one another and kind of, alrighty then, well, as he's kind of wrapping up, Shold steps back in, passes you, Ersa. You feel you don't even see him doing it. None of you do. But Ersa, you feel like as your hands are kind of down here, you just feel very expertly a rolled up piece of paper drop into your hand. He then sits back next to you, Atticus. Sorry, I had to fetch some things before this meeting. Can't forget the quill. And he starts kind of tracking notes. The king...
Yeah, notes.
Well, on that note, I guess we will begin. Our newest council members here, I figure that we should start with some of the more easy things to talk about. First thing being, our winter season is approaching, so we need to discuss food arrangements so that no one starves.
Versus just gonna thumb the note open. I assume read its contents.
It says, Elveron will probably arrive during this meeting, and then it says, it is up to you whether or not you want to cover up, but I figured I would give you the option. He goes, all right, Gold, you manage these sort of numbers. What is the food situation looking like for this coming winter? Gold kind of passes an already prepped piece of paper to the king. King kind of, we have 200,000 cows, 100,000 pigs, only 50 sheep. Gold goes, bad summer. 5 million bundles of wheat, 3 million bundles of barley, 1 million fish. This is less than last year, wasn't it? Isn't it? What happened? Are our farmers growing lazy in their pursuits? This will be enough, certainly, but some of those in the city which cannot afford will certainly have to cut meals. Our new council members, do you have any answer to this situation?
When we were traveling here from Ago, there was abundant game in the forests. Now, obviously, we would not want to be so brazen as to hunt it to extinction or deplete it too greatly, but that could help
Yes.
cover things. And I would love to. I back in my old town, I was a hunter. I could help teach people how to track game and such.
That would be a good option. Would you be able to arrange we can open a building for you on the lower steps where most people will need it. You'll be reserved a building and a time. Would you be willing to teach a class?
I would love
At least
to.
teaching the elders of every house name, and then they will be able to teach their children.
I would love to. I also, is there much yew wood nearby?
Wait, what did you say? I missed it, not him.
Is there much yew wood, like what you would use to make a bow?
Oh, he goes, oh yes, Gordanski has no short supply of any form of weaponry.
I could teach them how to make their own bows as well.
That shouldn't be necessary. We have plenty in excess. Gould, will you arrange that every household is given a bow and 30 arrows?
That should be plenty.
Thank you.
Do we have any idea why food shortages dropped?
Gold? He kind of passes it, kind of takes it. He kind of reads it for a second. Sorry, I'm trying to get information that I forgot to pull up, and it for some reason got rid of it when we stopped
Fake DM. Good.
playing.
Your computer malfunctioned?
Oh,
Big deal.
oh my goodness, little man.
While we're taking a small break,
Oh no, I got
do you
it.
have anything to say to the audience?
Oh gosh.
Yeah? Good job.
Do you want to
Well
put them in
said,
the
Bo.
room?
Stinker gel.
Do you want to put them in the room?
He kind of looks at it. Why am I just hearing about this now? Passes another little note. Oh, because it happened right now. Gold has informed me that one of our trading partners, Volga, They live across the Kernau waters. They have opted out of this year's exchange of goods that in years past we have relied on for food efforts. Did Valga state a reason as to why? Passes another note. All right. That isn't good. A couple of weeks back, one of our ships intercepted with their ships, and our ship got a little greedy and sunk theirs. So Valga is very upset. Gold, have you arranged peace with Valga? What is their status politically? Passes another note. Okay, well that's at least good news. Valga and Gordanski are on good terms for now, but they have requested that for their winter, even though they do not really have a winter, they asked for half our cows. They wish to up their population. If we lost 100,000 cows, that's a significant loss to meals.
Why not negotiate? Offer next year's cows. If they allow you to keep the cows you have for this year, you can build the population and give them double what you have available now.
If you reduce the amount you kill this year by some, you could breed them instead again, and then...
We do breed them quite aggressively. If we offer them double next year, then that puts us in a pit next year.
Not necessarily.
How do we resolve next year?
Well, if you're aware that you will have a food shortage, you can prepare adequately, can you not?
In the meantime, we could double our wheat and barley fields. That could more than enough make up for the loss of cows. Let's do that. Gold, you got all that? All right, send a messenger personally to Valga. Have them teleported in. Thank you. Gold kind of nods. He goes, okay, next up, the arena. We are opening it within a week. I think that this year, to boost morale for the coming winter, we should open it for free this year. In years past, entry was 5 gold pieces. This was obviously a large sum of money, and none of the lower step individuals could ever afford that. So I think this year, to help boost the much needed morale, we should open it for free. Any objections?
That sounds sound.
Brolin kind of... If we do this, there will be a surge of crowds. The amount of seats we have, we will not be able to sustain. And with that many crowds, a riot is surely to break out and people will get hurt. That is a good point.
I have a proposal on how to solve the issue.
Yes?
Keep entry free, but do a raffle. So there are documents for all the folk in the city, right? We can basically make a list where a set number of people, like the maximum amount of people, are set to go 1 week, and then choose a different set of names the next week to make sure everyone gets a chance, but we don't rush the stadium.
Will it be by households?
Are you saying... So you're saying that we could... Because normally, here in Gordanski, the arena happens once a month, on special occasions. On average, we open the arena for 1 week every 2 to 3 months. For 1 week. Are you saying we expand it to 2, but have... What happened? What is it? Something going on back
It's
there?
this light.
Oh, it's that light. Okay, weird. He goes...
I think it's a short in the wire.
I killed it. He goes, If we open it for 2 weeks, but make sure every household knows that only half of, or that could cause discourse as well, because not families wouldn't be able to go all together. We split it in half, the city. Half of the city gets to go 1 week for free, half of the city gets to go for free the other week.
I think that could work.
All right?
How do you
Gold.
split the city?
It's divided in steps. Knowing the lower step individuals, they are less likely to be angry and resort to violence with their own folk. But if we split it by a wealth gap, then that could further the divide between statuses.
Why not simply lower the cost? Instead of 5 gold, lower it to, say, 5 silver or 10 silver.
5 silver would work. I think that's a price that most people in this city would be willing to pay.
How much exactly, excuse me for being out of touch in this regard, but how much bread could 10 silver buy here?
Well, 10 silver equates to 1 gold. 1 gold piece could easily buy you 3 meals.
What are the odds that a poor family would be willing, say a poor family of 4, would
To
be
give up
willing,
1.5 meals.
They'll simply have to be willing to save and work.
Well, you have to think this is also happening at the same time that you mentioned that some meals might go up in price due to the shortage that we are facing now.
This could cause discontent among the poorer population.
Where does the money go to?
From our arena fights? It varies year to year. Sometimes it goes towards expanding farmland, sometimes expanded weaponry, sometimes the cost that it takes to train new dragons.
Well,
But it's never gone to the poor, if that's what you're inferring.
maybe you could kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Lower the price so that more people could get in. And you have the food shortage, so the rest of the funds could go to divvying out food to those who need it. Expanding farmland.
Which would also boost morale.
The cheapest food we have to produce, not the best tasting, but the cheapest, that 1 gold for 3 meals, that's for fairly decent meals. Not the best, but very palatable, something you could sustain off of for an entire year. Our cheapest, however, would simply just be bread made from either wheat or barley. That can go much, much lower, especially if it is sourced from the government itself. It can be reduced to an even lower price because it is bought in bulk. If we lower the price to the arena for 2 weeks, and then we take all that money and make sure it is well known throughout the city that all the money will go to buying loaves of bread for those on the lower steps and the outlying cities. We could also boost the egos of all the rich people in this city by saying that the highest donor to the arena would be rewarded with higher praise and potential lordship. That could certainly fund quite a lot of meals.
Or even display their names somewhere outside the arena.
We could also put on a big show, the grandest fight this arena has ever seen.
From you? You all wish to fight in the arena?
I am not sure.
That would be...
We did discuss it.
Oh, I can see it now.
I would love to.
A team marked by Tyr himself. That would rally people more than any other team.
Sent to raise funds for the poor.
Set to raise funds for the poor. Well, you would certainly boost your popularity. If you would be willing to fight in the arena, I'm sure that would boost profits, boost attention. And you've traveled all over the place. Potentially other people from other towns and countries would come here off as well. Will you
And
get the
we
word
do
out?
also reach across a large demographic. More people may be inclined to come.
Would you all be down for this plan?
It was something we discussed before coming here. So,
You're looking to me.
Well, you seemed to object to it.
No, simply we'd have to be prepared.
of course.
You have all never seen a fight in Gordanski's arena. So,
When did you?
I know of them.
Hmm.
Dragons, well, as talented as we are, not sure we want to throw ourselves against dragons.
Shold speaks for the first time. He goes, I had an idea cross my mind. What if, my dear king, what if the final act, after they fight their way through the arena, they have a fight with your Brula? The king, this is the first time you've seen him genuinely taken aback. Where did you get this idea, Shold? Oh, it just came to me just now. A fight to the death with the strongest dragon in the city, your dragon. That could raise quite a lot of funds. The king goes, you are right.
His
Would
kid
you-
is a dragon. Sorry.
He goes, would you all be willing to fight my dragon? In fact, I believe you should be seeing her tonight.
My only concern there is you saying that this is your personal dragon, no?
Yes.
And a fight to the death would certainly mean either a loss there or a loss of several people marked by tier. And I'm not sure how that would come across to the populace.
The king, with animosity in his eyes, knowing full well that Shold just put his beloved dragon on the line, yet not, like the king not outright saying no for whatever strike of pride, looks to Shold and kind of, it could most certainly boost sales.
That fight I would have to refuse, personally. I don't know about you all, but, well, it is the king's own dragon, and, well, we're here to help.
Are you saying you don't want to fight Brula because it's mine?
No, I don't
Would you
want
be
to fight.
worried that I would be offended?
I don't want to fight Brula because I don't want to die, personally.
Personally, I'm coming from a point of, while it may boost sales and be an exciting fight, I think that the outcome for morale purposes could be conflicting.
We're here to help Gordanski, not to die in an arena.
I second that.
My main concern is that it could, say we win, it undermines the strength of Gordanski, not only in the sense that Gordanski would be losing a very powerful beast, but also
Shold interrupts and goes, well, if you defeat the whoa, sorry. Well, if you defeat the beast, then it just means that there are new beasts in the city that are even stronger.
Yes, but would some people see it as us going up against the king?
Ursa's
Not if the king sanctioned it himself.
Ursa's gonna take advantage of kind of the discord and kind of like itch her nose and bring her cowl up, shrug her arms down,
Okay.
pull the sleeves.
Okay. The king kind of... Thank you, Shold. You're so kind and courteous. Shall we table this decision?
I believe that would be a correct choice.
Fair enough. Let's move on to something else. Gold, how are the dragon births going? Gold writes for a significant amount of time and passes it back. Silver dragons still not cooperating? Gold goes. For those that are not in the know at what I am saying, we have quite a collection of dragons here in the city, far more than anyone is aware of. I believe our nest numbers, we've been breeding them for generations at this point. I think the last I went down to the hatchery, we had 10 red dragons, one of which is ancient. About 6 blue dragons, the ancient one being my Brula. We have an assortment of all kinds. The only dragon we do not have is gold. Any news on where gold dragon might be? I understand that there are very few left of them in this world, but I would love to have one.
Good thing I don't know. Or Atticus doesn't know.
Brolin kind of perks up. We last sighted one in Solngar along the coast.
Holy shit.
We're-
Zelgar's in trouble.
We are going
Brolin,
to
I told
metagame
you we should have
protect
fucking killed
Luna.
him. We should have fucking killed him.
No, it's probably Luna.
It's Luna.
It's probably
yeah.
Luna.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot about Luna.
Let's metagame fight for Luna. Burn this place to
The
ground.
king goes, is this the same gold dragon we saw a couple years back? Yes, it probably is. The same female.
Stop. Stop. That was such a...
I wonder if I cut that.
I love that this is something that none of our in-game characters would have a clue
Yeah,
about.
absolutely not.
All of
Table,
us
I am freaking out.
have an emotional attachment to this dragon from last campaign.
Oh my god.
Oh,
I was thinking
the
Mouse
whole
is gonna
point.
win this campaign.
Gordanski, or the king goes, have Arcanum put a tracker on her.
stop.
If she ever leaves Solngar, a place which we do not control, track her down.
My kids are gonna fight you.
I've never been to Solvengar. What is it like there? How difficult would it be to just track her there?
It wouldn't be difficult, but politically it would. Solngar is its own country, its own continent. We do not have a stake in their affairs at this current moment.
Would you wish to?
That's right. Get out, baby. Get out.
He goes,
Stay out.
Brolin, any answer to that question? Brolin goes, we do have a significant amount of spies in each of the governments of major cities in Solngar.
Nice.
We think that if enough force and expediency was done, we could do very effective coups in all the major cities. We could kill all of their leaders within the night and place our own very shortly after.
Awesome.
Jeez.
For the audience, let us just clarify. Our last campaign was set in Salongar, about 300 years ago. 300 years ago. Entirely in Salongar. We love this land. This is our land. This is my land.
Not these characters, but for
Not
us.
these characters, but for us.
So much attachment.
That's our baby.
So much
Literally
emotional
crying.
attachment.
If you kill my kids for the 3rd time,
Yeah,
Wait, how many times have we killed your children? How many children have you killed, Connor?
how many children have you killed?
At least 6.
Paula.
Maybe
Where's
believe that.
Paola?
Oh, you're asking about in the game? Oh, more than that.
I just said you're fully
Dumb.
I mean, it's been 300 years.
Sorry, I don't want
Lifespan's about.
Ash to miss anything. So
Also, I would like to say I did say
But
on
now
accident your legal name.
druid.
So,
level 18,
that.
20. Actually,
Okay,
20
I never
druid,
know.
probably.
Oh yeah, for
She live a
sure.
long
I'm a straight
time.
white man. What's the worst they can do?
There's 1,000 of you.
All our other characters
There's plenty of
are
others to
dead.
choose from.
Duncan's long gone.
Pumpkin's long gone.
Yeah.
He just took over.
But his
So
legacy
bad.
is not.
Zolia's
He
long
invented
gone.
the firearm, took over a major city, then died.
My little bird
Nice
babies.
fight.
The little bird babies are gonna clap cheeks if they try to touch Solengard.
I'm afraid.
I got one grandkid here. I've got so many others.
Atticus is here, baby. Grandkid
Atticus
of
these
Mavis
nuts.
is here.
And kiss my ass. That's pretty
Gotta
nice.
save your cousins.
Okay. Yes, Mom.
This speaks from beyond the grave.
Yes, Grandma.
I was gonna say, you're talking to Gam Gam. Use her proper name.
I'm talking to Gam Gam. I gotta listen to Gam Gam.
Maybe
Screw Saloon. Screw my friends. I gotta listen to Gam Gam.
Maybe Froya will go find your children.
We've already met your grandchildren.
I know it. They made me so happy. I'm really sad we weren't recording that.
We met
we
more
were.
Valkyries.
We were on the shitty phone audio.
On this super shitty
I mean,
phone
based off stories from Mavis's adventures, would
Oh,
Atticus
you
know
would've-
about gold dragons?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, because how much would Mavis have told
I
him?
mean, the gold dragons were a major part of everything that
yeah.
went on.
For sure.
so I'm
You
just
know-
like,
You know that there's one she
you-
was not very fond of, and that he had a kid.
Bob
Yeah,
Ross.
you would have heard the kid's name is like
Bob
Luna.
Ross is
Also,
alive.
we should tell our audience this because we're just spitting out Bob Ross's names.
We put Bob Ross in as
Put
a
Bob
joke
Ross
character.
as a joke character.
And then-
Way before we knew any of this was gonna be
And then
shown.
Connor
Connor
made
turned him into a gold dragon.
into the BBEG.
One of the BBs.
It was our
of them,
first
yes.
time playing for most of us, and it was like the second, third session. We were in a city, and we were in a
you-
library, and I was like, "Any books by Bob Ross in here?"
Bob
Painting with Bob
Rossian
Ross.
was born.
And Connor said yes as a gag, and then he became a major character with a whole
we were
emotional
all-
and moral arc that we all loved.
He
We
was
were
my
all
little
attached
patron
to.
for like most of the campaign.
He
It's
was-
fine.
Yeah, and he was a gold dragon, and
It was a
then he
whole-
died like really tragically.
No,
The story
he
is
Did he die? I thought he just went to it.
No,
he
he
went
died.
away.
He went to a
He
planet
died.
dimension. And
That's
then died
right,
there.
Though. That's right though. He died. Yeah.
he died
did.
eventually, but we didn't like see him die.
the moral
saw
of the
him die,
story
didn't
is don't joke about putting
With those
Yeah,
funny
where's
main
the
characters
moats?
into your campaign because they will turn into emotional wrecks. So
and we all love his daughter
he had
so
a
much.
daughter named
Her name is
Luna,
Luna, and we're so emotionally
it's the
attached
gold
to
dragon
her.
that we're currently talking about. That's still around.
So if they name drop Luna,
Anyway.
I'll probably recognize it.
I mean, we'll probably
or
get
even
that
the mention of
before
gold
now.
dragon
Even
on
just the
Solengard.
mention,
We
because you
know
know
they're
that there
very
was there's
extinct.
only like one left.
Oh, I.
The king then
I's
goes.
probably freaking out 'cause she's like, if these bitches get gold dragons, there will be nothing to stop Gordanski.
I mean, they have 10 red ones.
I know.
Not to, they have. I mean, I guess I should let the king say it himself. He then goes, and that silver one is it still being incredibly difficult? Well, give it another week. If
Meta
it's still
insight
fighting
check.
us, then
Is it the silver dragon that was living in Mouse's village?
I'll have to find out. The king goes, if it's still being difficult in a week, harvest the eggs and kill it.
Damn. Awesome.
Alright, next up on our list, the Bocob Rebellion. Is that being quelled? The Brolin goes, yes, it is. Last we heard, most of the rebellion has fallen back to Pryfall, where they belong.
May I inquire about this rebellion? I know not of it or what it is.
Brolin goes, there is a group of religious fanatics that come from Pryfall. They worship the god Bokab. He's the master of arcane knowledge. They've come here because they believe that making all forms of magic illegal is traitorous to Bokab. They wish to correct this and give, in their own words, all the free people arcane knowledge.
And when I ask this, I don't mean to overstep any bounds. I just wish to know why there is nothing to be done to work out an agreement with them. A way to allow them to practice their magic and...
Brolin goes, magic has always in Gordanski been a very controlled substance. Very few people are eligible to practice the arts. Even most of our guards do not understand how it works, although they have intensely powerful arcane armors and weapons. Magic is a powerful source that can often go out of control. And the amount of collateral damage that comes from it is too much to handle for a city this large. The king kind of goes, an example as to why we have banned such magics for those that are not eligible to wield it. Look no further than what your friend did in, what's the city called? I forget.
Takane.
Takane. It's a newer city.
Too bad.
It is reasons
Not
like that
here.
why we have to keep it under control. Magic is far too powerful to be wielded by just anyone. And those that can, they have to jump through a lot of hoops to become eligible. Proper training. We do have a school of the arcane here, where, since we're on the matter of wealth,
You just got called out, by the way.
About Takane.
he said that one reason why they banned magic, look no further than what Eyes did in Takane. He goes, we do have a school of the arcane here. Since the topic of wealth is on our tongues, yes, only wealthy people are eligible to apply. But with you all here, we can change that. But regardless, very few people in this city understand magic, and even fewer practice it well. So this Bokab rebellion, they want to spread magic into the city. But as Brolin said, it has mostly been pushed back. Brolin nods in agreement.
So are they mostly an army of mages then?
Oh, they're hardly an army. But people in this city, the idea of being able to create their own little spells intrigues them. So it's easy to persuade people.
How do you go about suppressing this uprising?
Brolin? Brolin goes, any traitors we find from Pryfall, we dispatch. We've tried to do it discreetly, not to create any martyrs.
So you kill them.
Yes.
But there are no battles taking place.
Not that the common folk know of.
Oh, sorry.
Underground then.
Or out in the open, but we have a group of intensely expert individuals. I'd take care of it for us. Speaking of intensely expert individuals, My Grace, would you like to talk about Kosai? He goes, yes, Kosai. What are their armies up to nowadays? Brolin goes, last I heard, they have over 500,000. They'll probably be at 600,000 within the month. And last month they were at 300,000. How did they almost double their army in but a month? Oh, my reports say
my
that...
clone is.
Maybe.
Oh.
Report says, well, as you know, Kosai used to be a fractured nation. But recently they have united, shared forces and resources in the unifying force of battling Gordanski. The king goes, but a couple of months ago they were not this aggressive. A year ago they were perfectly happy with our dealings. What's changed? Is it that boy that did what he did in Winterspire? Brolin goes, yes, after the events of Winterspire, Kosai believes that we killed the queen and that we blamed it on Kosai. Kosai is not willing to accept that one of their own probably murdered the person he was sanctioned to protect. Oh, well, that is not good. That is not good at all. You can tell the king is about to say something when you guys hear flapping off in the distance. You look up and silhouetted in the moon with kind of electrical arcs zipping between it and the clouds around it, a ancient blue dragon.
Oh my gosh.
This dragon very swiftly lands on the balcony just a mere feet away from you. You see it has scars riddling its body, a chain and shackle around its neck that is pulled tightly so it doesn't interfere with its wings or arms. It kind of sits there on the balcony, kind of stretches its wings and shoulder blades back for a second before it kind of settles, smacks its massive, the size of a house, mouth. The king kind of stands up, a smile on his face. Brula, oh, it has been several weeks. How was your trip, my dear? He kind of stands up. Brula goes, the king goes, does any of you understand Draconic?
Hold on.
I did
Although I wouldn't understand it spoken.
Oh, okay. He goes, you can tell that Brolin...
I could hear it.
You can tell that Brolin understands it. Oh, so you would understand it.
Maybe.
I always forget how we said it.
I can't
Bottom line, you understand it.
But I do not.
Oh.
And does the
I
dragon
have
have
to see.
subtitles?
Yeah. I have complaints. This is not accessible. I'm gonna have to
Ableist.
bring that up with the king.
The king, he goes, impressive work, Brula. I never doubted you. We were actually right on that topic.
Uh-oh.
Did it go swiftly? Was Elveron useful? She goes, the king,
Oh, sorry.
the king, he's never proven himself to be unuseful. I'm glad he was helpful.
Can I make
It's a shame he couldn't have brought you here himself. Is he still there?
your brother's dead? Rest in peace.
The king goes, pardon us from speaking a language that most of you probably do not understand. I sent Brula a couple of weeks back along with Elveron, although more recently he can travel around faster than even she can. I sent her on a little mission to quell a different rebellion of sorts. I asked her to destroy Winterspire, and she has done so. Brula goes, he kind of... Brula says that the upside is that now that region of the world will be a little bit warmer for a few days. That is something.
Brigand.
Damn.
She also burned all the neighboring towns and villages within 200 miles, and that's very impressive.
I swear, if Siku's dead, the little girl who carved my wooden bracelet, I'm gonna
What
murder
the frick was Azora during this? Hold on.
Yeah, what the heck is Azora?
Shitty lawyer.
He goes. He goes. The king goes. Now I'm sure most of you, especially since you've been to Winterspire, or so I'm told. I'm sure you are saddened by this news, and I am deeply sorry. But you see, after the events that transpired a year ago, I do not know if you're fully aware, multiple changes of leadership. Long story short, Winterspire believed that we were the ones responsible for killing and burning down most of their castle. We were not. Trust me, if we were, we would have done it a lot cleaner, but regardless. They were building an army and rebelling against our power, and I made an executive decision. You know, if one city is willing and happy to go to war against Gordanski, then we are doing something wrong. We don't want to go to war. That was my uncle's game, and that is not my game. The only wars I go against are ones that are absolutely needed, like the ones that Atticus fought in.
Oh my god, he just did a Bush. He did a George Bush. Not to get too political, sorry.
We are not political on this podcast ever.
Not at all. It's
he
not
goes-
like we're trying to overthrow a government.
he
right
goes-
now.
Every government we go to,
I'll
we
have you
basically
know.
overthrow it.
I'll have you know, I instructed Brula to be very swift. And, well, to target the children first. We didn't want them to see their parents get burned. Brula, did you succeed in this? Mostly.
Are we talking near total depopulation?
Yes. And the runners that tried to flee were burned down subsequently.
And all the buildings and
Oh, gone.
books.
Gone.
Sweet.
Yes,
Awesome.
I instructed Brula, and I quote, take the iceberg to the ground.
Mhm.
And I believe she's achieved that. This will show the world that we are not to be reckoned with. There will be no more wars fought while I reign as king. And that's that.
Within 200 miles, does that include the village that we all first met in?
Uh-huh.
It might
Hey,
not.
well,
It might not.
Oh,
is it Ula?
I just remembered my little tabaxi cat girlfriend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she's dead.
It does not.
Ula's alive.
None of the outlying villages that you guys actually traveled to are within 200 miles of Winterspire.
okay.
So,
So,
not
like-
the little traveling.
Yeah, what about the little traveling people?
Oh,
That's out of the range of
Oh,
200
they
miles.
got
And
Winterspire, the 200 miles literally just means the mountain ranges where
Okay,
it's
so
built.
not Iceboro and stuff.
So-
No, not Iceboro.
So now you need to go back and meet up with her and then start a little polycule with you and Saloon.
I'm so down.
Did I-
She's dead.
No, yeah, Tabaxi's
was
dead.
in Winterspire.
Yeah, she ran
She
it
is
in
dead.
Oh.
Ula's alive,
Okay,
though.
okay.
Yeah, Ula Gordanski's alive.
I don't remember any of these names.
That's why I take notes.
Thank you.
Connor, did I mishear the king in saying that the dragon mostly succeeded? Is that what he said?
Oh, he was referring to he mostly succeeded at killing the children first.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Well,
My next D&D character is going to be a survivor of the Winter Spire massacre.
That would be pretty sick, actually.
That
That would be really cool.
Yeah.
The king goes, now speaking, and this is a great transition into our previous issue of Kosai. How many ships do they have? Galleons? Brolin goes, last I heard 40,000. Yeah, that's enough. And they are all... Are they all central Kosai? Yes. That's good on us. Gather 1,000 pounds of red salt and 1,000 pounds of black salt. Have our alchemist infuse them, and have Elveron teleported above the city.
Just an atomic bomb.
War crimes are being committed right now.
As
We're
soon
sitting
as-
at this table.
As soon as they killed the children, those war crimes were happening.
Brolin goes, sir, we do not have 1,000 pounds of black salt. What do you mean we do not have 1,000 pounds of black salt? Last I heard,
It's sitting in our basement.
but you only had a few pounds of it.
Yeah, it was like
Yeah.
5 pounds.
It was not
You only had like a few bricks of it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
If we had... I like to jump scare Emma because she screams.
We had 1,000 pounds of black salt.
We could just nuke Gordanski.
We
How
don't want to
intense.
nuke Gordanski. We don't want to solve
Gesture
the
with the
problem by
cat.
being the problem.
Speak.
I love how he grips it.
He has some shit to
What's
say.
this?
I'm just gonna hear
Okay.
sniffing in the mic.
The king goes, last I heard we had well over 2,000 pounds of black salt. How are we sub 1,000? Brolin goes, there was a robbery a few weeks back. A few, hold on. A few weeks back, you say.
Well, 1,000 pounds minus like 5. Right?
That we have.
995.
The king gets very upset and goes, a few weeks ago this happened, Brolin. Why didn't you tell me of this then? I was hoping that I could resolve the issue on my own without you having to worry about it. You worry about too much already, sir. Shut up!
Roland's about to get killed at this table.
You waited... How many weeks? Close to a month. Close to a month, and you did not tell me. Brolin... I've known you for a long time, Brolin. We went hunting together. As little kids. You know you can trust me. No, my king, I apologize. I'm very sorry. When I went hunting with Brolin when I was a kid, you know, he was the archer. Always so good at shooting that bow. You know, I just didn't have the wingspan for it, I suppose. Just couldn't draw the string quite as far back as he could. Couldn't get the tension for the arrow to actually go through a deer. But I brought to the table my expertise on anatomy. My mother always taught me anatomy growing up, and I would always tell him where to shoot to get a killing shot, where the arteries were. He kind of ushers to the guard that is standing in the room. Can I show them? Kind of grabs the bow and arrows from the guard. Brolin stands up very abruptly, and the king, sit back down right now. Brolin, I'm sharing a story of our childhood. Anyway, I would always tell him where to shoot. The heart, liver, you know, arteries. What's funny, I don't think Brolin realized that in order to understand anatomy as adeptly as I did, you also have to know what won't kill something. You know, you need to know where not to shoot. When I was a child, my arms were a tad shorter. Am I a little better with the bow? He kind of draws it, lightly stacks an arrow in. Brolin kind of stands up again, and then the king goes, Atticus, will you please go keep Brolin in his seat for me? You're big and strong.
Okay.
You go up. How do you do it? How do you keep him in his chair? He's standing upright though.
I have a question.
Punch him in the nuts.
Thanks, Izzy.
Welcome.
What are you doing?
Oh, I piped up.
Before? Okay, what do you say?
Is this truly necessary?
I'm just telling a story, guys.
We all know what you're about to do.
What am I gonna do? Kill him?
No. You're about to bring him a lot of pain.
Well, that I am gonna do. Please sit down, Brolin. What do you do?
Try your words
As
first,
a
I guess.
council member,
Commanding presence.
I have to insist that perhaps you should just dismiss him.
Dismiss him.
He's gonna do that early.
Do you understand what he's done?
I
On
do.
his watch, an amount of black salt has disappeared from the city that could level it. And he was reluctant to tell me for a month
And why do you think he was reluctant to tell you?
because he thought I would do something bad to him. But instead, I had to find out on my own.
Are you not proving him right now?
If he had come to me, I would not have done this. Sit down, Brolin.
Is he still not sitting down
He's
on
still
his
not.
own?
You're gonna have to make him. He kind of goes to sit down, but he's very hesitant.
Just kind of stand behind the chair and hold him by his biceps and just kind of try to
pull
pull
him
him down
down.
a little bit.
The king kind of stands up, kind of sits, almost with his legs crossed over one another, just on the table in front of Brolin, all casual like. He's still got the bow and a few arrows in his hands. And he presses, with the bow drawn, he presses the arrow into his shoulder. And kind of, you see, if I were to shoot you right here, no arteries hit, no major anything, you would totally survive this, as long as you got the proper treatment and it wasn't infected. Flings it. You see it goes into his
Does it go
arm.
into my hand?
No, it pins him into his chair. It kind of goes through the chair. Brolin lets out a scream of pain, and the king goes, "Oh, shh, this is still a lesson. I'm teaching you so that the next time you go hunting, you can do better and you don't need me anymore." Because obviously you don't. You see he kind of presses it once more up to his side. Another arrow goes into him, pinning him more to the chair. He continues, knocks another arrow, and goes right up to where the liver is.
Can I maybe try to roll a sleight of hand check to get shot instead?
If
Still
you
shoot him.
would like.
How difficult would that be? Extremely?
Before he's shooting the bow, he is pressing the arrow directly to where he's firing it and then just releasing it.
If he missed, he would just shoot him.
So he has some sort of magic going on, probably? Or he's just extremely accurate?
Can I tell he's going?
No.
for
What
the
he's
liver?
doing is he's
point
knocking
blank.
the arrow
The arrow's
and he's shooting it point blank.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's basically just using the tension of the bow to drive it
Yeah.
through his body like
Yeah.
a nail gun.
Yep.
Can I tell he's about to shoot this man in his liver?
Probably is.
Okay.
All right.
And then he presses it. He presses it more, and he goes, "If I shot you right here, that would most certainly pierce your liver, which, if the arrow was left in, could prevent some of the liver from bleeding. But that would require pretty immediate action. You would certainly be safe, especially with magic, but if you let that bleed for more than just a few minutes, your blood would become toxic." Flings it right into him, pinning him once again into the chair. And then he takes another one final arrow, pressing it into his leg, right where you know there's a major artery. And he goes, "Oh, now right there, I've most certainly, just barely, missed your artery. Of course, I don't want to sever it, that would kill you. But let's say you were to pull yourself from this chair, remove the arrows, or even wiggle the arrow just a little bit. You'd probably relieve pressure from the small nick, and you would most certainly bleed out within just a couple minutes. So you die if you get out of the chair. If you stay in the chair, your liver will bleed until you die. So, I'm giving you a choice, my old friend. You sit in this chair and 100% die, or you risk removing yourself from the chair, probably severing the artery in the process. You'll have a couple minutes to run down the hall to where the nurse is. If you get to the cleric, you'll probably live. If you don't, you'll die. Guard, please inform the cleric down the hall that if Brolin reaches her while he's still alive, ask her to do everything in her power to save him. If he doesn't, tell her to ignore it. Well, this council meeting is adjourned. Let's all go." He stands up and he leaves the room. And then before he lets any of you do anything about it, "Come on, guys. Let's get going. Brula, I will see you later. Please enjoy a nice nighttime flight. Come on. Chop, chop."
I have a question, just by the way. Did we end up getting our weapons back then?
Yeah, because you were
Okay.
told that you could carry them. Yes, you have them.
Okay. So I'm guessing my bow has been like red this whole time then?
Yeah.
It's like burning.
It doesn't physically burn you or any of your clothes.
But it's just kind of smoky.
Yeah.
As I assume we're getting up and leaving, Ursa's going to sign to Gold, I believe is the mute.
Mm-hmm.
It's a long shot and she knows it, but she's going to sign. Can you understand me?
Hey, yo. Hey, yo.
He signs, "Where did you grow up?" "The tongue which you sign is a rare one."
I grew up in a place that's familiar with the old signs. Where did you grow up?
He signs, but this time before he does so, he looks a little bit more nervous, and he goes, "We can talk about that later.
Okay.
Not here." The king, "Oh, that's cute. You guys have a little moment going on. You guys should get an ale together or something. That's sweet. Guys, come on. We're in his way. Can't you see he's already trying to get out of the chair?"
Let's go.
You prefer honesty, correct?
Very much.
Well, I must be honest when I say I cannot in good conscience leave this man to die here.
Well, I can honestly say that I would be very upset if you interfered. Isabel. That's what your dad called you, right?
I'm sorry. Are we not marked by your god?
Oh, you are? So am I. We're on the same playing field here. Except, you know, I have a little bit more at my disposal. Tyr told me to invite you in, and that is what I have done. But no matter who you are, I will not accept people that interfere with my dealings. And this is my dealing, so let it be.
Your dealing is tears.
If you think he morally deserves to stay alive, I'm afraid you're sorely incorrect. Do you know how many children he's killed personally?
I care not for the moral standings of this man. I am saying this is a foolish move from you.
Why?
You mistake fear with respect and loyalty.
Eyes.
And that is why you are being attacked from all sides.
Eyes. Let her talk. I need to hear this. This is truthful. As the man pulls himself from the chair, the arrow still sticking out of his body.
You find yourself facing enemies on all sides. This is why.
Enemies that, as I have displayed tonight, are easily dealt with.
But not Kosai.
Oh, we'll figure out something for Kosai.
You fear Kosai. And...
Not really.
Well, you should.
Why? What do you know about Kosai? Do you know that all of their soldiers, every single one, were plucked from their mother's breast and put right into a slavery of sorts? Trained to fight, trained to kill. That's what they're best at. If it was one Kosai soldier versus 5 of mine, I guarantee the Kosai soldier would win. I understand my limits, but I also understand theirs. They are across the sea. And even if I have 100 pounds of black salt and 1,000 pounds of red salt, that is more than enough to destroy their entire fleet of ships. How are they going to get here?
Well,
They don't have Elveron. They can't just teleport here. What are they going to do? They don't have anything to prevent something falling from the sky. They can't send it back.
I think you... Well, limiting magic here has closed your eyes to capabilities that other places have been growing in.
Very well so.
But,
Tell that to the hundreds of cities we've taken in the past 10 years. They had way more magic than we do. Tell that to Winterspire.
Hey, do you guys want to just kill this guy?
Yeah.
We'll get TBK'd, but he'll be dead.
And then another person will take his place.
that's true. His son.
Who's probably worse.
Shold interjects, finally. And he goes, "My friends, situations have gotten very tense here. How about you let our newest council members go sleep wherever they wish to sleep and figure things out for the night? And if you are very upset with them come morning, then maybe you can agree to let your dragon fight them, if you are so sure that she will win."
Hey, Shold. I have an idea. Shold. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up.
Noted. Regardless, the situation stands that I believe our new friends should be able to leave the hold for the night. Do you agree? Or do I need to speak to my father?
I'll talk to my daddy.
The king goes, I think you're right, Shold. Things have gotten a bit heated.
I'm wondering.
Please, if you could help escort them out of the hold. You know it better than they do.
Personally, I'd like to stay in the hold for tonight, if that's okay. I don't want to bother finding another place to stay.
Shold goes, with all due respect, Gwyneth,
Unless you're formally requesting I leave, I will.
Gwyneth, I think you and your friends could benefit greatly from exploring the city more.
Say I take you up on this offer, Sheldon. We're gonna have some words to exchange.
I will prepare for them,
Yeah.
but
You
I
better.
suggest we all leave.
I only ask, my king, for you to consider this. Why would Tyr send us, if not for a reason?
Why
And
would
I
he
will
send you?
Turn around and I'll leave.
Okay. You leave. Shold walks very quickly.
Do you
Yeah,
know
in front of
where
you.
you're going?
No. I'm following Schultz's.
You turn around and get into a wall.
No, I'm following Schultz's gay little footsteps.
Okay.
I'd like to hang back and speak to the king for just a moment.
No.
I can do what the fuck I want, dude. You just talk shit to the king the whole
You talked a
time.
lot of shit to the
And
king.
you went against everything you yell at me for every time I try to
Let
make
Gwyn
one.
talk the shit. Let's see what
That's true.
happens.
Shold sees this, and he is going to wait until Gwyn is done. Not close enough that you guys can hear what Gwyn is saying, because Shold doesn't care about that, but you can tell
I
he kind
talk
of...
shit in a smart way.
Do you?
I don't really know about
Do
that.
you? I was tempted to yell at you
It's
a
just
couple
in a
times.
different way.
You were telling the king he was afraid. That's not something you do.
I think you're a little piss boy, actually.
I think you're a little piss baby.
Well,
Can I leave the
I
hold
actually
without-
have a plan, so
The
Okay.
king... Okay, let's let Gwyn talk.
Yeah.
The king kind of...
We've been dealing with a lot of formalities tonight. Am I correct in saying that?
Yes.
You don't like me, right? I mean, you say you're one of honesty, right?
I don't like any of you yet.
I
Tyr
understand.
told me to invite you in, and I'm obliging his wishes. I do not know why you are here, why he sent you, and why he gave you a mark to begin with.
I know you didn't like the way I talked to you. I wouldn't like it if she talked to me that way. Can we level on that?
I think what she had to say was insightful.
You're dancing around what I'm saying.
I would have rather her said it than not. So I'm happy she did. I can tell you are not, though.
Yeah. My point here is there are going to be very clear disagreements that us in the group have.
Brolin pushes past both of you, blood on his hands, and he collapses in the hallway.
Skill issue.
Made it farther than I thought.
roll 7.
Sorry, what are you saying?
Should I attempt to stabilize him?
You get the gist that the king would not allow you.
Yeah, I thought about it, but
That's why I just had to call him a bitch, okay? in intelligence talk, okay?
I guess my question is this. You did what Tyr said. You invited us in here. You've welcomed us as advisors, yet you do not kill us after a display like this.
What?
Why?
Do not kill you?
You've done what Tyr wishes, no?
Why are you...
Because all of you, combined especially, have far more worth than Brolin ever did. Plus, you have all been, at least with the questions that I have asked, truthful with me. So, as of right now, I have no reason to treat you any differently. I take your advice on what needs to be done with the city, and I do it. And if you have anything more, I will enact that as well.
I guess I'm just saying that I'm confused.
Why? Confused as to why I so quickly listened to you when suggesting that a judicious system be set up, but not when you told me to spare Brolin. Is that why you're confused?
Sort of, in some ways, sort of that dynamic, yes. And let me be clear. I did not tell you to spare Brolin. While I have been honest with you, I also know that in the past I have been too forward with some things, right? And it's made people angry. That doesn't mean that I'm like trying to hide things, right? I try to be respectful with my truth, not the brutally honest type. Does that make sense?
I can see that.
You are a confusing person to me.
That's usually what I go for.
Probably works to your benefit. Here's my question. What are you going to do about the black salt that is missing?
I will have to pray to Tyr that no one uses it to blow up my city. And in the meantime, I will issue as many commands need be to track it down.
Okay.
I will also, because unlike what Eyes thinks, magic is very much present in the city, just not by the layman individual.
It's restricted, but people who have it are well trained.
I will have several people track it magically and then teleport it back. I expect this issue will be resolved within the night, but because Brolin did not tell me it has been a month. You see why I was upset?
Yes. How involved are you with Ago? How well do you know about the happenings there?
Argo's a fine city. Loyal individuals, and they craft the most exquisite ores and instruments that is necessary for Gordanski's pursuits.
I mean, how much news do you get from there? How frequently are you updated on the day-to-day happenings?
Quite. Sorry, I almost had a sneeze.
Oh, you're good.
The king did not. Quite frequently. Why? Is there something I should know?
Why?
You heard of the metal monsters that were rising there then?
Yes.
And it just wasn't of importance. I'm not saying that there's a judgment. I'm just genuinely inquiring.
No, should there be a concern?
I would be worried.
Shold very quickly approaches, interrupts, and goes, sorry, my king and Gwyneth. Gwyn, I have news about an individual that you have been searching for some time. You need to come with me right now.
Is it Krim?
It is urgent.
Is it Krim?
Yes,
How the fuck do you know about Krim?
I know a lot of things. But you need to come with me right now. Sorry, king, we must stop this conversation. And he will take you by the arm and drag you away. Shold very silently escorts you all very swiftly out from the hold, down the steps, back into the main city. He takes you very abruptly into an alleyway. He goes,
Immediately, I'm going to say, Ersa, you need to get the black salt out of the basement right now. The king is going to track it down.
Gwyneth,
Not from that.
I do not know what Crimney is. In fact, I did not even know his name until you said it. I just had to get you out of there because you were speaking far too much about things that you do not understand. All of you. That was a disaster in there. But you do not need me to tell you that. There are things at play that you do not understand. You think I'm trying to kill you with his dragon? No.
Is this alleyway a better place to talk? Or is there a safer place?
Oh, there are far safer places.
Take us there.
He escorts you to the nearest brothel. Kind of takes you inside. You see the head of this particular location is not Lawrence, but instead this large dwarvish man. He kind of... Schuld, it's good to see you. What business do you have here? Oh, well, I wish to speak in one of your private rooms, please. Can we make that happen? Yes, we can. Follow me. He kind of escorts you back into this private room. You guys kind of all pile in. It's warm, uncomfortable in this small sex room, and it's humid.
Plenty magical protection.
It's very clean. It's very clean. But he before the man walks away, Schuld addresses him one last time, and he goes, Can you get him to come here swiftly, please? For a platinum. Yeah, for a platinum, take 2. Please, fast. Kind of takes it. It's a nice meal with you, Schuld. Goes on
sure
back.
we have maximum privacy here.
Shuts the door. Yes, we do. We
Neither
do. Brothels, they are a front.
I understood that.
Yes, but it is much deeper than that. This whole building is enchanted. Especially these rooms. Gordanski has ears everywhere. I was hoping to show you them personally before any conversation like this needed to happen so you understood. But the night watchers, they are people. I can't even describe them. I will show you them after this so that you can put faces or lack thereof to the fear that I wish to instill.
So,
No matter where you go in this city, people hear you. Everywhere. What I said in that alleyway I shouldn't have even said, but it was brash and it bubbled over. So thank you for reminding me to come here. The king is evil. But you do not mean me to tell you that. You have, I was going to say eyes. You understand. Sorry for that.
What part of Ickvale are you from?
A little south of Desert. Not where the Farron family comes from. When I first came here, I tried to... When I first came here... He goes, when I first came here, I tried to hide the accent, but I'm good at many things. Accents are not one of them. And despite my bountiful family name, I do not have all the resources that one might think.
Well, it's lucky the king has never been to Ickvale then.
Oh, he has. I'm sure you are all very confused. What do you want to hear first? The affairs behind why I was pushing the dragon so much, or who I am?
Who are you?
Okay, let us start there. I am from Ickvale.
Can I guess why you want us to kill the dragon first?
If you'd like to, be my guest.
You want to weaken the king. You're from Ickvale.
Mm-hmm.
Now let me ask a question.
Okay.
Do you know why the salt is missing?
I was going to get to that. I do not. It's not me.
Do you have contacts in Inkville?
The ones that are not dead, yes.
Contacts that conspire against the king?
Contacts that are not powerful. Contacts that are poor and famished individuals. Like I was. But a year ago.
Explain how you're here.
This is not obviously what I look like. But for now it is. I will show you my true self, but it is difficult to turn the back into this once I go out of it. I'm an orc. A Mikville.
It's Brian.
It's not.
He's still here.
He's always been here.
Is here.
He's not Brian.
Brian is love. Brian is life. Brian is
Oh
God.
God.
He goes, about a year ago, I was living peacefully in my village, surrounded by family and friends. Then come up the river, across the swamps, a Gordanski galleon, so large. I've never seen anything so beautiful before in my life. Until I heard a boom and saw a building destroyed by a cannonball. They raided my village. They killed my 2 sons. And then the captain raped my wife before killing her. Fast forward a couple months, grief turns to anger. I hear that the Farron family, father and son, are visiting Dasixerd on business. So I go too. I wait my time until the son, the real Shold, is by himself. I stabbed him in the lung and then slit his throat and pulled his tongue through it. Took his clothes, all the money he had, and the money that he did have was more than enough to buy the one thing that I needed. A spell that could turn me into him, at least physically. So I do that. I meet up with his father. He was so worried that his son went missing. But I reassured him that I am here. He says, "You sound different." I say, "I'm sorry. I love this culture so much. I decided to sound like them. Like the savages that they are." That worked. It has worked this whole time.
What?
You think it wouldn't?
Shold was a privileged son, most beloved. But he was also naive and stupid. His father pampered him, let him do whatever he wanted. So why not let him sound like a savage? It worked here as well.
Racism is a hell of a thing, I guess.
It also helps you when you have money, or at least the thought of it. People don't ask rich people questions.
I suppose.
Most people, smart people.
I told my father that I wished to travel to Gordanski to pursue politics. My father, overwhelmed and happy that his little boy was finally growing up, finally had aspirations that weren't just sleeping around and spending all his money. So he got me a ship, a crew, and he sent me on the way. It wasn't until I saw this crew that I recognized the captain, the person that killed my family. I again bided my time until I was alone with him. I would tell you the things that I did to him. But it would take too long. Oh, sorry. I'll change this. But it would take too long and contain too many graphic descriptions. I learned from this guard, however, all the ins and outs of the politics of Gordanski. Everything that I needed to do to climb the ladder. Of course, the ladder for me was far easier when I have money in my pocket. So I climb it once I get here, knowing full well that the guard is dead. But I learned in his dying breath that the king had ordered the destruction of several villages which were outspoken in their hatred towards Gordanski.
Right, so you're here. What is the organization that you work with?
At first, it was nothing. I came here with one goal, and that goal still remains. I want to burn this entire city to the ground. Not killing people, but everything that the king loves, I want to kill.
The structure, reorganize.
And then finally, when he has nothing left, not even his dragon, then is when I will kill him. So, I am on your side.
And who else is? Who runs these brothels?
Lawrence does.
And who is she?
Most people do not know of her past. But I am good at listening and reading people. So one thing I've ever been good at. She comes from Kosai. She was born into it. In fact, a lot of the workers in these brothels are ex-members of Kosai. Why do you think anyone that is suspected of talking of its actions are never able to speak again? The people here are professionals. They are not assassins, at least not anymore, though they still carry many of those skills. They do genuinely enjoy their work here, and Lawrence enjoys running brothels, safe havens for people. But some of them do engage in underground activities. Lawrence is aware, and several of them have aided. In fact, the man that you, Gwyneth, spoke to,
He told me.
well, he told you some things, but I'm sure this is...
Not everything, sure.
Yes. So the reason I want to kill his dragon is because that is the most powerful dragon in the city. If push came to shove, I guarantee that dragon could take on at the same time at least 3 red dragons. That is how strong this creature is. It has been alive for 1,000 years, seen the fall of thousands of cities, and has been born into Gordanski. It has scars all over it. That is not from Gordanski. That is from the many wars that it has fought. It is loyal to the king and his family. If we kill that, that is one less threat to worry about.
How are we to kill that?
The only time to do it is in the arena.
I understand, but we
If
have
you
our
kill the
limits.
dragon in any other way,
Right.
the
but I
king
think-
will know that you...
That's
I
not
think
what
the
I'm
question
saying.
is,
How?
how the hell do we kill the dragon? I don't know what impression we gave to you.
I trust your abilities.
You should not.
Not an ancient after fighting a series of
The
other
only
dragons?
other thing I'm good at besides reading people, well, I guess it's actually one and the same, is understanding people's worth more than they do. The second I heard about you, I knew I needed you on my side. Am I wrong? No, I am not. We are going to do this together. Yes?
I
am the one friend you have in this city. I know more about this city
What
than
are the
almost all of
dragon's
you.
weaknesses? How would we go about fighting it in a way that we wouldn't just be evaporated?
My idea, and hear me out. Yes, how confident are you at making one of your portals in something you've never seen before.
Ooh,
Hypothetically, inside the dragon.
Like putting a lot of explosives in its belly.
Or
Or opening one right in front of its heart and stabbing it.
hypothetically, if I
Well, why
No,
don't we
the
just feed
space.
Ursa the dragon, and then she'll see the stomach, and then easy.
if
Okay.
it's not based on the person, it's based on the point in space. If I were familiar enough with that space and we got the dragon to that space, I could.
is there dragon anatomy that we could study?
It's not relevant to the anatomy.
If you had access to the arena before your fight,
Exactly.
and you picked one spot on the battlefield which you think could work, and practice over and over again, putting the portal in the exact spot, could you do it?
Yes.
There.
This is a good plan.
In the ethereal plane, can you see through creatures? At least sorts of.
I don't believe
No,
so.
this is not a.
Do you have a better idea?
There are many,
List one.
many more options.
List one, please.
We either fight the dragon in the arena.
Or it's
Listen,
here
or
when
If you kill the dragon in the arena, the king will have no standing. The people will love you. He will not be able to touch you. It is the only time to kill the dragon, and we cannot advance on any further plans until that dragon is dead.
Why?
Have you seen
It leveled the Winter Spire.
After we retaliate, that dragon will still be alive.
That dragon
and
is
will
loyal.
kill us.
Even if you kill the king, sever the chain around its neck, it will still kill you.
I know that. I would not free an ancient blue dragon on this city. I would not free it on my worst enemy.
So what is the
saying-
alternative?
The king gave us a list of his greatest enemies just now during that meeting. Kosai is arming up to fight Gordanski.
Kosai is just as bad as this place.
Don't
I have
want the
spoken to
full-on war.
Lawrence.
I am well aware, Kosai,
Lawrence would rather be here than in Kosai.
and she's a human woman. Listen, the goal is to have them destroy each other. Can we not pit them between?
And how many people, innocent people, would die in that process?
Excuse me,
Want
have you
war?
ever been in a war? Like, have you seen what that is?
If
I
Kosai
don't-
decided to go to war with Gordanski, let's take the Blacks out of the equation. They would destroy each other, but ultimately one would come on top. If Gordanski comes on top, they acquire all of Kosai's land. If Kosai comes on top, they enslave everyone here. And they just become a new Gordanski. If they fight each other, hundreds of thousands of people will die. Gordanski has to
everyone.
stay on the map. But the leadership has to change. All of its fundamentals have to change.
And what happens when Gordanski changes and Kosai invades anyways?
Gordanski can arm itself to defend itself, but if we can get Gordanski to bunker down in its own homeland instead of wasting its time in mine and wasting its time fighting other countries and occupying things it doesn't need to, it can stand up to Kosai. The only reason Kosai could realistically attack Gordanski and possibly win right now, as far as I'm aware, is because Gordanski is running out of money, running out of time, running out of food, and they're overextended.
They are.
Stretched out too thin.
If we can...
The king would never admit it, but if Kosai were to attack, they would win.
I know.
I bet 100,000 of their soldiers could beat 500,000 of Gordanski's.
I know.
What we're saying is we want to avoid this war if at all possible, so we change how Gordanski's operating, get them to secure themselves here so they'll be ready for a potential invasion, and then we deal with Kosai later.
Eyes, you do have a good point though. Kosai is an issue. But unfortunately, as things stand right now, we have no way to communicate with him.
We can't
No,
let them go
no
to
access to their higher ups. No one at Kosai that could be of any use.
Well, that's not entirely true.
Please elaborate.
Ursa's brother.
You really think he would do anything for us?
You have
He
a
was
brother
the one
in
that
Kosai.
assassinated Budon Cinderak.
So
We were
he
there.
did do it.
Yeah, we were kind of there.
We don't know whose side he's on, though.
That's
do
an
we?
answer to the question. Don't let the king know that.
That is a huge gamble.
Listen, this whole thing is a huge gamble, but
Yes, but
if we could do
at least we have some form of direction here.
I agree that we need to take care of Kosai.
We do,
Right now,
but
we're
we
taking
can't
care
right
of
now.
Gordanski.
this
And
is
letting them go to war will only further the amount of damage.
let's be smarter about this.
How?
We do not need an all-out war between the two cities.
I agree.
Yes,
need-
but
The leadership to destroy each other structurally.
How will
Yes, but-
Kosai influence the king in a way other than threatening conflict?
we don't get to change the leadership here. They're just going to dump black salt on Kosai and bomb it to oblivion.
Exactly. And why don't we give Kosai an in to the leadership here?
Why would we do that?
That's a gamble too.
Again, this whole
Extremely.
thing is a gamble.
But at
It's a
least we
less
have
predictable.
I do think
Direction and-
if I push the king enough, Gordanski could destroy Kosai. They have over 50 dragons.
Again, listen, I don't want innocent people to die.
There's
I am
hundreds of
trying to
thousands.
take out the most corrupt in each state.
Okay,
Right?
but-
And that requires subtlety.
But the problem is that we can't pit leadership against leadership because
They're
the
already
leadership
pitted
is
against
the
each
people
other.
that
I'm
hide.
not saying that. I'm saying we pit members of leadership that we have ties to.
Don't send pawns after each other.
Yeah.
They won't go to war against each
Exactly.
other.
Exactly.
The king of Gordanski won't fist fight the king of Kosai.
Listen,
They'll
that
send
is
pawns
not-
to each other.
I know. That is what I'm relying on. If we can get pawns that are loyal to us and to stopping war, we can kill two birds with one stone.
With all due respect, how is Ephraim going to stop the war?
And is that stretching ourselves too thin?
Plus, didn't Ephraim swear the death of Ersa last time Ersa saw him?
Yeah,
That
I
is
don't think
also
that we
true.
really have an in with him.
We have
Yeah.
learned more about Ursa and her powers
Okay,
since we last met with Ephraim.
but still, I don't think he's on our side.
Hey, sir, would you be capable of the powers of Elveron? You share the same markings. I have seen what he can do firsthand.
I'm not to that level yet.
What would you need to be on that level?
Know
We-
many portals?
I do. There are several within the city. How many would you need?
2.
Done.
Listen,
I have seen Elveron teleport entire buildings, places full of people. I've seen him teleport poison into someone's bloodstream from a mile away.
We should do this before the arena fight, I think.
The arena won't be for 4 or 5 days. That gives us plenty of time.
That is doable.
I will enlist the man that Gwyneth met. He's an expert at what he does. You hear a knock on the door. The man that brought you here, you will have a guest that wishes to speak with you outside. It's the king's son. He's insistent that you come out right now.
Very well. Let's go see him.
You all kind of step outside. You see this hulking figure is standing there. He's got his shield, his sword, his helmet is on. He goes, enjoying a brothel, I see. I'm glad you're spending your time in Gordanski well. My father, I don't think he likes you. Sure, he hasn't told me directly. I think he would be more than willing to give me a promotion if I killed you.
Hey,
Or
you
let
kill.
me offer something else. Can I speak with you? Pray.
You have 10 seconds.
Hey,
Well, I'll need to cast a spell so that none of your father's agents can watch on you and get you in trouble again.
just a second. I have this
Win.
thing.
Make a persuasion check.
What are we both offering here?
I'm gonna use one of my divination die to roll a 19. And then my persuasion, I have proficiency with.
Crystal.
Hang on.
You were supposed to have 10 seconds. You're eating that time up pretty good.
Listen. This is out of game. Shut up. 22.
He goes, I think I'm gonna take your ears and your tongue and your nose
Hey,
so
buddy.
that you're left with no
Hey.
senses after this,
Big
you
boy.
ugly bastard. And
Big boy.
he swings
I
his
have-
sword at you.